In an old and quaint house that had been in my family for generations, there hung a mirror with an uncanny reputation. As children, my siblings and I were warned never to look too long into its depths, for it was said that the mirror had the power to reveal more than just our reflections. As the years passed, the warnings faded from my mind, and I grew curious about the mirror's alleged abilities. One evening, while alone in the house, I stood before the mirror, gazing at my own reflection. At first, everything appeared ordinary, but as I stared deeper into my own eyes, a peculiar sensation washed over me. The room around me seemed to blur, and my reflection began to change. My eyes widened in disbelief as I watched the image of myself transform into someone else entirely, a woman with hauntingly familiar features, but dressed in archaic clothing from another era. Stunned, I reached out to touch the mirror, and as my fingers made contact with the cool glass, a surge of energy coursed through me. In an instant, I was transported into the reflection, finding myself in a world that mirrored the one I knew but was unmistakably from the past. I stood in a dimly lit room, its walls adorned with ancient tapestries and candelabras. The air smelled of aged wood and burnt candles. Confused and disoriented, I searched for answers. As I explored the strange world, I soon realized that I was not alone. The woman from my reflection stood before me, her eyes wide with shock and fear. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. I don't know. I'm from another time, another place," I replied, struggling to make sense of the situation. She explained that her name was Eleanor, and that she was trapped in the mirror, just as I had been. She had been a resident of this house centuries ago, and had stumbled upon the mirror's mysterious power. She warned me that the mirror was a portal between our worlds, and once you entered, it was difficult to return. As we conversed, I learned that Eleanor had been trapped in the mirror for countless years, her only companionship being the fleeting reflections of those who dared to gaze into its depths. She spoke of her longing for freedom, her yearning to escape the confines of the glass prison. Filled with a mix of fear and sympathy, I promised to find a way to set her free. Eleanor led me through the house, revealing secrets and hidden passages that I never knew existed. It seemed that the house itself was somehow connected to the mirror's power, its walls holding the echoes of the past. In our search for a solution, we stumbled upon an old journal written by one of my ancestors. The entries described the mirror's enigmatic origins and the dark price of its power. It was a warning passed down through generations, a cautionary tale that had been forgotten with time. The journal spoke of a ritual, a way to break the bond between the mirror and its prisoner. It required a sacrifice of sorts, a piece of one's own reflection, given willingly to free the trapped soul within. But the ritual came with a dire warning. It was irreversible, and once performed, the sacrifice could never be regained. Eleanor was hesitant, torn between her desire for freedom and her fear of the unknown. She had been trapped for so long that the idea of leaving the mirror was both thrilling and terrifying. Yet she knew that her fate was intertwined with the mirror, and she could not remain there forever. In a moment of resolve, Eleanor made her decision. With tears in her eyes, she reached out and touched the mirror's surface, offering a piece of her reflection as the sacrifice. The mirror glowed with an otherworldly light, and as the energy enveloped her, Eleanor disappeared from my sight. I was returned to my own world, standing before the mirror once more. The reflection now showed only my own face, but Eleanor's presence lingered in my heart. I felt a mix of sorrow and gratitude, knowing that her sacrifice had granted her freedom from the mirror's eternal grasp. Since that day, the mirror has remained in the house, its secrets guarded closely by my family. I visit it from time to time, gazing into its depths with a mixture of curiosity and trepidation. I still see my own reflection, but I can't help but wonder if Eleanor's spirit lingers within, watching over me in the generations to come. The mirror's reflection serves as a reminder of the thin veil that separates our world from the unknown, and the consequences of delving too deeply into the mysteries that lie beyond. It is a reminder to tread carefully and to never underestimate the power of the unseen.